Well, this is a surprise recording because apparently we're going to get another update from the law enforcement in Mississippi regarding Daniel Callahan. So let's listen in.
Good afternoon. I'm Commissioner Sean Tyndall with the Mississippi Department of Public Safety. We're here today at a press conference to address the Daniel Callahan incident and charges that are being brought in multiple states against this heinous individual. June 13th was a very tragic day, very sad day, one in which saw not just the loss of life of a mother, but of an innocent child, and one that reaches at the hearts of all of Mississippi and Louisiana. We're blessed in this state to have law enforcement that's been working together and proven relationships over the last 4 years. And I know when an incident like this occurs, we all come together to try to solve these types of crime. JPD, Mississippi Bureau of Investigation, Capitol Police, MHP, LSP, offices from across the state started working on this case immediately. And because of their cooperative efforts through state, federal, and local law enforcement, they were able to quickly apprehend this individual and stop his treachery in this case. The Attorney General's office has been assisting in this, also working with us in the District Attorney's office, looking to how we can prosecute this case in the future to get a successful prosecution in this state. I want to thank the Attorney General and her team for their efforts, and I'd like to recognize her to give a couple of remarks.
Thank you, Commissioner Tyndall. Thank you all. Thank you for bringing us together today. And thank you to the officers at MBI for their work on this very tragic case. Chief Wade, thank you so much for you, for the officers of the Jackson Police Department, what you've done and what you will continue to do. Thank you to the men and women of the FBI who also lent their talents and resources here as well. We worked together, and you all have tracked down Callihan, as the commissioner said. You rescued Jaylee, and you found poor sweet little Erin so that she can be laid to rest with dignity. My office is proud to work with all of these men and women as we've continued to unearth the details of this horrific act that has taken place in 2 different states. And together we're going to bring justice for this family. We are united front and will work diligently every day to make sure that these individuals are held accountable. You know, words cannot express the sorrow that we feel for this brunette family, what they have suffered, what they have endured in the wake of this unimaginable, difficult time. Our prayers continue to be with Jaylee and her family as they mourn the loss of 2 precious lives that were senselessly taken. No family should ever have to endure what they've been through. No child should have to live with the nightmare that Jaylee just endured. I know we'll all hold our children a little closer, a little tighter in the recent days to come. Children should never be exploited. I'd also like to take a moment to thank the federal and the local law enforcement in Louisiana who worked on this case. Our office has a strong relationship with the Louisiana Attorney General's office, General Merle, and then through the governor's office as well. We have a strong working relationship. We will continue to work with all the Louisiana partners in law enforcement on this case. And we're ready to work with all of you to ensure justice that is to be done for Callie, for Erin, and for Jaylee. And working together, we can achieve that. You know, cases like this underscore the importance of the public all working together. We have to continue to be dedicated with our law enforcement as well, because many of our cases start with public information, with tips, information we're able to gather from people who are out there who have their eyes open, they hear things, they see things, and they give us that information. They take the steps that actually can save a life. So the public's proactive vigilance is necessary, and the cooperation will continue to bring us crucial information. So I'd ask anyone that's listening, if you have information, please come forward. Help us to bring justice forward. You know, this should never happen, and anything that you can provide is very helpful to this active investigation. You know, particularly acts that are so horrific that involve our children. There's no greater responsibility than ensuring the safety and well-being of our children, and that responsibility falls on all of us. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Lieutenant Colonel James Herzog, and I'm the Special Agent in charge of the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation. Just tell you a little bit about MBI. MBI, we conduct investigations statewide. We conduct our own investigations. We also conduct and assist local, state, and federal agencies on various investigations, primarily violent crime and also involved shootings. However, on this particular day of the 13th, we were contacted by Louisiana State Police and the Sheriff's Department in Louisiana to assist in an interview in the Bogue Chitto area. And during the course of this, that's when Louisiana State Police issued an Amber Alert. So simultaneously, that's when the subject was actually taken into custody. But this is a tragic case involving the murder of Callie Burnett in Louisiana, also the abduction and subsequent murder of her 4-year-old daughter who was found in Mississippi, and the abduction of her 6-year-old daughter who was thankfully found alive in Mississippi. First, I want to acknowledge and thank the various agencies that have been instrumental in this collaborative effort. One, Tangipahoa Parish, Louisiana Sheriff's Office, Louisiana State Police, the U.S. Marshal Service, the Jackson Police Department, the Mississippi Attorney General's Office, Capitol Police, and the Mississippi Highway Patrol, as well as the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation and our MBI crime scene analysts that worked tirelessly on this case. Specifically want to bring to light the two special agents that specifically worked this case on behalf of MBI, which is Megan Wasson and Norman Young. Also our crime scene personnel that's actually supervised by analyst Ty Parker. The progress in this investigation is a direct result of our combined resources, expertise, and dedication. This case exemplifies the importance of interagency cooperation. Also, we want to take a moment to recognize the critical role the community has played in this specific case. With public tips and cooperation, that's been invaluable within this investigation. Also, we want to encourage anyone with further information to come forward and assist us in ensuring justice is fully served. Now, while we have made significant strides, this investigation is still ongoing. So our agencies remain committed to seeing through to its conclusion, and we will continue to work tirelessly to ensure the safety and security of our community. On behalf of MBI, we appreciate your continued support and cooperation as we move forward with this case. And then also our prayers are with the families from this horrific tragedy. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. I want to first start by sending my prayers and condolences to the victims and their families of this heinous act of violence here in the city of Jackson. I want to keep all families uplifted in prayer who have been impacted by crime here in the city of Jackson. Crime impacts us all, directly and indirectly. Daniel Callihan and Victoria Cox brought horror and unthinkable terror to the city of Jackson. These individuals were a threat to those kids, which means they were a threat to all of our children. What I saw in the woods in South Jackson is something you never want to see as a chief and as a father. We will hold these individuals accountable. Let me repeat, we will hold these individuals accountable for their actions. I want to thank the many agencies that assisted in this investigation. It is what I talk about all the time, collective and collaborative efforts together. Assistant Chief Watts and the hardworking men and women of the Jackson Police Department, the Attorney General's Office, the U.S. Marshals, Jackson FBI, the U.S. Attorney's Office, Department of Public Safety, Capitol Police, NBI, Mississippi Highway Patrol, Rankin County Sheriff's Office, Hinds County Sheriff's Office, Byron PD, Louisiana State Police, Hinds County District Attorney's Office, and Tangible Hope Parish Sheriff's Office, a collaborative effort to bring these individuals to justice. Let me leave you with this. We will continue to press forward against evil and lawlessness in our community and in the city of Jackson, and give justice for the many, many families here in the city of Jackson that absolutely deserve it. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, General. Thank you, Colonel Herzog and Deputy Chief Watts. Again, this was a very heinous incident, one in which I can assure you that the full resources of the state of Mississippi will be dedicated towards the investigation, the continued investigation, and the future prosecution of these individuals. I can tell you that it is a very unique case. The investigation, like I said, is ongoing. It not only goes across state lines, but also within our state can go across multiple counties. And that's what the Attorney General's Office and the Department of Public Safety helps bring to the table when we start looking at the multi-jurisdictional issues and crimes that may have been committed. And again, working together with our state, federal, and local partners, we're able to secure prosecution not just here, but in Louisiana and possibly other parts of the state. So with that, we'll be glad to answer any questions that we can, but like I said, it is an ongoing investigation. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Based on our investigation, we feel confident that they are charged with the appropriate criminal charge of capital murder, both of them, and sexual battery on both of the individuals. We feel very confident based on our investigation and our investigation with our federal, state, and local partners. And this is an ongoing investigation. I still have more questions than answers. And we hope that more answers will become available. But that crime scene was worked extremely thoroughly. It was not worked with a sledgehammer, it was worked with a very, very microscopic approach. So a lot of evidence is going to be revealed later once forensic tests are completed. But we feel very comfortable with our charges, and we look forward to pursuing those here in the state of Mississippi.
Last week or the week before, we saw David Callihan walk out of the police department, and he saw many of our cameras and admitted to some of these crimes. How does that confession and that few minutes of him talking impact the investigation and charges, and I guess where does that come in?
Well, I feel that it strengthens the case. It makes it stronger for us, Tangible Whole, and our federal partners as we move forward. He didn't say anything in the basement that we had not heard. So it really confirmed, made the case stronger, and it also gave the community and the citizens of Jackson, the state of Mississippi, and Louisiana, they got a chance to see what we see every single day, the people that we interact with every single day. Apparently, he was not ashamed of what he did, and he will be held accountable for what he did. Thank you.
Yes.
Can you talk about the parallel prosecution of this because the district attorney in potential home parish has requested that they come to me because they believe that the case really originated, the crimes really originated in potential home parish. So how will, from the prosecution side, move forward in this parallel matter? Do you refer to the Louisiana person prosecuting the two suspects and then Mississippi hops in? Then how does that work with the federal?
Well, and I'm going to let the Attorney General talk about that a little bit as far as the prosecution and those jurisdictional issues. But I will say this, and I've had conversations with the General and our federal partners on multiple occasions with other cases that had federal and state charges. And my position has been from the Department of Public Safety standpoint that when you commit a criminal act in this state, you might be subject to federal charges, but you're also going to be subject to state charges when it's appropriate. And that's what we have here. And I don't look at it who's the lead. These individuals are going to be tried in both states. They're going to be convicted in both states. And so I don't look at it that way, but I'll let the General talk about the prosecution and that side of it.
Thank you, Commissioner. That's exactly correct. We'll be working together. There's first lead. It's all about holding these individuals accountable, which is what we'll be doing. Again, having that strong relationship with our federal partners, the partners in Louisiana. We'll be working hand in hand to bring these individuals to justice and justice for these families. So it's going to be a large prosecution. It's going to happen in both states. It's going to be federal charge, state charges, all working together.
What's your expectation? Do you believe that the case will take you over to Louisiana first, and then the district attorney requested there?
Again, we're working together, so we'll just see how it all comes to fruition. Certainly, we do that on a number of cases, as the commissioner said. It's just a matter of how it all comes together for the timing. And again, but we're certainly working with one another and sharing all the information. Thank you.
The chief or the MBI, I'm just curious again, because we're just trying to see some clarity because the district attorney thinks we're hoping that she's charged the individuals there with first degree murder, 2 counts, which would lead you to believe that Eric Gilbert and the choreographer was murdered there.
Yeah.
Does that money up into your investigation that she was here? Do you have any evidence that she was murdered?
Yeah, I can't speak on behalf of Tangible Whole and what they have and what they did to present the case to their grand jury. I know what we have here in the city of Jackson, and we're going to proceed with those charges. We're going to work with our Hinds County District Attorney's Office, our federal partners, the U.S. Attorney's Office, and Mississippi Attorney General to make sure that this individual is prosecuted. We know what evidence we have. We know the resources that we deployed to deal with that particular situation. And I just have to be honest with you. You know, I worked homicide for 9 years as a young detective. And I'll never forget seeing that baby in the woods. I will never forget that. So he has to be held accountable. She was dead in the woods here in the city of Jackson. And we're going to hold him and Miss Cox accountable for that here in the city of Jackson. We are still awaiting forensic evidence. That stuff has not came back yet from the lab. I feel very confident on where we are, that it fits our charges appropriately.
As for Callihan, he is expected to go back to Louisiana soon. Do y'all have a date on when that extraction is going to be? And once that does happen, what's kind of the game plan with continuation on the investigation, the indictments? You know, especially with Cox still here, over there, what's kind of the game plan working with Louisiana?
Well, and again, we're working with our federal partners on this, and I expect there will be federal charges, particularly as it becomes a multi-state issue. And I imagine the feds are going to pursue their case heavily, from what I understand, in the state of Louisiana. So again, we're going to push for our charges here in Mississippi. We'll work together. We'll coordinate together. We've had those conversations, and we'll continue to have those conversations. And I've worked as a prosecutor 20 years ago. We had cases on the coast that started in Louisiana and finished in Mississippi. Louisiana brought its charges, Mississippi brought its charges, and we figured it out and we worked it out, and there was accountability, and that's exactly what we'll have here. Yes, sir.
Commissioner, is there any evidence that this location of Jackson County himself, Cox himself, was part of the broader network of child trafficking situations, or do you see this as kind of a one situation?
Again, this investigation's ongoing, and we're not going to rule anything out at this point. I think there's certainly something that we're going to continue to dive into and investigate. And again, as the general mentioned, and the chief and Colonel Herzog mentioned, we need the public's partnership on this. We need your help. If you know something, if you've heard something, if there's something that you feel like you should report, maybe there's individuals that have met this guy before and had reasons to be concerned, or just like how this whole thing came to light, they hear noises in the woods. Report that to us and let us continue that investigation. There are certainly reasons to continue to ask more questions, as the chief indicated. We have some answers. We know he did this. We know her involvement, but there's still other questions that we want to answer and keep digging. Yes, sir.
You just mentioned Victoria Cox's involvement. I know about 10 days ago, there was still a little bit of uncertainty, the extent of what she's involved in. Is there any clarity that we can get on where she comes into all of this?
Well, obviously, when you're a cohort in the crime, when you're a companion criminal, when you're part of the criminal enterprise of an individual and you're working with them and you're part of it, you're going to get charged just like that individual. So, she's going to be right there with Callihan, and they're going to be charged equally and be held equally responsible for what happened in this case. I think that's it. We appreciate y'all.
Okay, so here's where we're at. Daniel Callihan has been indicted for the murders of Callie Burnett and her daughter Erin Burnett. As we know, Callie Burnett was found in her home, which is in Louisiana. So those charges, it sounds like, are going to be handled there. Erin Burnett, her child, was found, and her other child was found alive, but Erin Burnett was not alive. They were both found in Jackson, Mississippi. So what we learned today is basically Jackson, Mississippi, Laranja, Louisiana, and the feds are all going after this guy. Now, just to sum it up a little bit, he did waive his right to extradition. So he is headed over to Louisiana right now, or soon. The investigators were hoping that the case would be tried first in Louisiana, since the crimes originated in Laranja. He could be extradited as early as today, since he was returned to the custody of the U.S. Marshals. Once Callihan is back in Louisiana, he will be taken into either St. Charles Parish. Oh gosh, there's another parish I can't name. Plaquemines. Oh, y'all, these names in Louisiana. I love y'all. I'm right next to y'all. I'm not far, okay? I love y'all, but I cannot pronounce the names. Or St. Tammany Parish, due to him being a federal inmate. So, what they did mention Cox, but they didn't say. I don't know. I didn't get a whole lot out of what they were talking about with what's going to happen with her. That'll be more interesting, I guess. It says those three jails are the only ones in the area that have federal holding wings. So Mississippi authorities are also expected to give us an update on his alleged accomplice, Victoria Cox. Cox was indicted on 1 count of first-degree murder, 1 count of aggravated kidnapping, 1 count of second-degree kidnapping, and 1 count of accessory after the fact of first-degree murder. Callihan and Cox were booked on sexual battery and capital murder charges in Jackson this past week. And of course, both of them are currently in Mississippi. So that's where we leave it. I wasn't expecting any kind of updates from them. It wasn't a lot we learned, but I guess it was just kind of like, look, we know we're going to charge them here in Mississippi. We know we're all going to go after this separately. So let's go ahead and do a big, kumbaya press conference so everybody knows we're all on the same page. That's what I'm assuming. All right. Well, that's it for now. How many updates am I going to give you guys today? I have no idea. But as long as they keep coming, I'll keep putting them up for you guys. See y'all soon. God bless.